My name is Sydney. This happened to me in Ohio, just outside Akron, back in 2019. I just had finalized my divorce after a long, ugly few years. I wanted space, quiet, control, so I rented a little one-bedroom house at the end of a cul-de-sac. It wasn't fancy, cracked driveways, old floors, drafty windows, but it was mine. The first few weeks were peaceful. I filled the place with candles and plants. I'd wake up and drink my coffee on the porch and just breathe. Then the voicemail started. No one spoke, just breathing, like someone was holding the phone right against their lips. Sometimes shallow, sometimes heavy, sometimes wet sounding, like they were crying. I blocked the number, but they kept coming back, different numbers each time. I thought maybe it was my ex messing with me, or someone trolling, until I started hearing footsteps. The first night I was laying in bed around 2 a.m. It was a cold, cold night. The kind of cold that makes your windows sweat. I was reading a book when I heard slow footsteps crossing the floor directly above me. Problem is, my house didn't have an upstairs. I froze. I didn't move, just sat there, listening, trying to convince myself I was just imagining it. But that night, it happened again. Same time, same rhythm, and this time, I smelled something. Something stale. Like wet shoes, maybe? Old wood? And it was the strongest near the hallway. I started sleeping with the lights on. I haven't done that since I was 12. Locked every window twice, even shoved a chair under the front door. But then, one night around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. I sighed. Another voicemail? Who could this be? This time, it was me. I heard my own voice. I'm going to kill her. But I never said that. I didn't even talk in my sleep. I was fully awake when this voicemail came in. I played it back 10 times over and over and over again. I swear, it was me. Same voice, same room tone, same little clock ticking in the background that sits in my kitchen. I was too scared to sleep. I called the police. They came, walked through everything, checked the attic, found nothing. They said it could have been a prank, maybe even AI, maybe a friend copying my voice. But I don't have friends like that. And I was alone. 2 weeks later, I got in my car, drove to the grocery store, and parked outside. I remember putting the car in park. I remember reaching into my purse for my shopping list. Then, nothing. That's the last memory I have. They found my car still running in lot 2 hours later, doors unlocked, my phone on the seat. But I was gone. No one knows what happened. Not the police, not my family. No notes, no signs of struggle, no witness. Just gone. Sometimes my sisters say she'll get a voicemail from me. Blocked a number, same breath. And I wonder if whoever was in that house with me isn't finished yet. I've never told anyone this. Well, not really. But after watching stories like these for years, I figured maybe someone out there will believe me, because I still don't know how to explain it. It started when I moved into this old duplex just outside Fort Collins, Colorado. It was creepy, kind of run down, the kind of place you rent out when you're trying to save up and eat something for years. I was on the left side. The unit on the right had been empty for a while. That's why the landlord told me, at least. It was fine at first. Creaky floors, thin walls, the usual. What else can you really expect? But then one night, it was around 2:30 in the morning. I was laying in bed, scrolling my phone with one earbud in, and I swear I heard breathing. It was faint, like it was coming from behind the wall. That cannot be, I thought to myself. At first I thought I left the window open or something. I took my earbud out, sat still, and there it was again. Slowly, uneven breathing, almost human-like. It was coming from the wall directly behind my bed, the wall that separates my unit from the empty one next door. I got up and pressed my ear against the wall, and I swear to God it sounded like someone was standing right on the other side, just breathing. I didn't sleep that night. The next day I asked the landlord if anyone had moved into the other unit. He said nope, it was vacant. I mentioned the breathing. He just laughed, said old buildings make weird noises. I let it go, kind of. A few nights later I started hearing footsteps. They were light, too light to be an adult. It sounded like a kid. A dog? I think it was a kid walking in circles above me. Thing is, there was no one upstairs. It was a one-story unit. The noise was coming from the ceiling, or right above it. Then it got worse. One night I was in the kitchen, and I caught something out of the corner of my eye. There was a window that looked in the other unit back room, and the curtains drawn shut. It was dark, but I swear I saw movement. The curtains shifted just slightly, and behind it was a silhouette. It looked like a kid, small, still, just standing there. I dropped the glass I was holding, and it shattered all over the floor. When I looked back, the figure was gone. I called the cops. They came and looked around. Nothing. No signs of 4th century, no footprints. Said the place was locked up tight and probably hadn't been entered in months. That should have made me feel better, right? But it didn't. After that, I started sleeping with the lights on. Stopped using the black room entirely. Then the closet crying started. It was soft, muffled, but I swear it was coming from my closet. One night, just past 3 a.m., I woke up to what sounded like a child crying softly behind the door. I laid there, frozen, listening. It went on for at least 2 minutes, just sobbing. Small, choked sobs, like a kid trying not to be heard. When I finally worked up the nerve to open the door at least, nothing was there. That was the last straw for me. Packed up a bag and decided I was going to crash with my friend Josh for a few days. As I was looking to the door to leave, my neighbor, this old guy who lived across the street for at least 30 years, waved me over. He asked if I'd heard anything weird at night. I said, yeah, actually. Like what? He sighed and said, there used to be a family in that unit. A single mom and her kid. Quiet people. One day they just disappeared. Vanished. I asked, did they move out? He shook his head. No, I mean disappeared. Cops came, never found a trace. The only weird thing he said was they found a hole in the back closet wall small one, looking like it led to a crawl space, but it didn't go anywhere. It just stopped. A dead end. I haven't stayed there since. That was 3 years ago. Every once in a while I'd check the listening just to see if someone moved in. No one has ever stayed more than a month. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that side of the duplex was ever really empty.